All right, House of Payne fans. Now, let me just say I am very pleased about my episode review for what was it? Episode 21, The Big Game. And when I'm looking at the stats of it, yeah, the video is about to hit 6,000 views. I mean, that's all well and good, but I'm even more happy about the comments on the video. There are about 68 different comments, and for the most part, I feel like I've replied to a large majority of the comments because I felt that episode, to me, really embodied what was wrong with the show since it came back. Now, if you've watched the review, I highly recommend watching the review before coming to this video. I gave the episode a 1 out of 10. And the only reason I gave the episode a 1 is because CJ was spitting facts in regards to compromising and, how relationships work, especially when dealing with a pregnant woman. There were only a very, 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 very small number of comments that talked about Jeremy, you're just being, you're just being too harsh. The show is meant to be comedic and yada yada. But I remember I was reading one comment, I responded to it, and it said that I think there were a couple comments like this where, I'm a hardcore ride or die House of Payne fan, but even I have to admit this episode wasn't good. And there was another comment that kind of said the same thing, but it said, regardless, there's going to be House of Payne fans who are ride or die, who will watch anything and think it's great. And then I said that I recognize that. I am well aware that there are fans who feel like Tyler Perry can do no wrong when it comes to House of Payne, that House of Payne, we should just be happy it's back and this and that. But I responded saying that, yeah, I understand there are fans who are ride or die, but the thing is, can you honestly say that it's good? Like, can you honestly tell me, or not even tell me, but can you you're being honest to the brand by being a fan regardless, but at the same time, you're being dishonest to yourself if you really think that the show's actually good. I mean, I asked the question, I didn't get a response yet, but I asked this person the question of, multiple questions in the same comment, like, can you honestly tell me that season 9 is anywhere near as good as the first 8 seasons? Can you really tell me that season 9 was worth waiting for years later after the end of season 8? The dramatic ending of Miranda walking out on Calvin and then wanting to know what's happening next in their lives. Was it really worth the wait? What about the quality? Does this live up to the House of Payne legacy, the first 8 seasons? I mean, it's cool to be a fan. It's cool to be a supporter of Tyler Perry, but I think that it's messed up to have a blind allegiance that just because Tyler Perry made it, I support it no matter what. Because a black man made it, I have to support it. That goes for all things, political, entertainment wise, family relations. Blind allegiance is a dangerous thing. And I feel like by constantly supporting this low level quality of work, it only means Tyler Perry is going to continue to dish out poor quality products from Tyler Perry Studios. Now, yes, I know in recent interviews he's said about bringing on new writers on new projects and how he'll be kind of taking a more of a back seat to the main role of Tyler Perry Studios and kind of making way for the next big thing within his company. So basically, it's almost like he's kind of grooming the next lead of Tyler Perry Studios in a way. Like, I don't know who that is, obviously, but it means that, we're going to see Tyler Perry kind of grooming the next generation of writers and directors and producers as opposed to doing everything himself. But I just feel like the House of Payne we're getting now is just awful. I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this. I think I mentioned this a few weeks ago, but I dare say that the Paynes actually did some things right. Or should I just say that the Paynes wasn't as bad due to the fact that the reason that show gets a major pass is because it had a lot of obstacles to deal with before episode 1. The biggest one being that first photo where we saw Curtis and Ella and this entire new cast of characters. It got so much backlash from that one photo. So there were major obstacles to deal with before that pilot. But then people kind of calm down and say, oh, well, CJ and Calvin and them, they're going to be there. But then it's like, nah, they were only there for like the first 3 episodes. And then after that, we just had to deal with these new characters. But what makes House of Payne even worse is the fact that it has 8 seasons, basically a better version of itself. It's almost like House of Payne, the first 8 seasons, is the name brand, while season 9, and to an extent the Paynes, is the knockoff store version. I just feel like if there is a season 10, Tyler Perry should definitely listen to the feedback, because go on Twitter, look at the hashtag House of Payne. I guarantee you will have to do some real digging. It's like finding a needle in a haystack to find any positive remarks, any positive tweets to the House of Payne we're getting now. I swear. For all the people who say, bring back Meet the Browns, no. Dude, for the love of God, no. I know some people want Meet the Browns characters on assisted living. No. What's the point of reviving older Tyler Perry shows if they're only going to be created with the same level or poor level of quality that House of Payne season 9 is getting now? If we get a new Meet the Browns series, look, I never watched the show, but if he decided to bring back For Better or Worse or Love Thy Neighbor, I don't think fans deserve that, because if nothing else, Tyler Perry, well, I don't even want to compare it to Disney, like with Disney giving a bunch of their animated classics the live action treatment. Love them or hate them, at least they kind of stick for the most part to the script of the original. Whereas with Tyler Perry shows, he's bringing these shows back that were great in their time, but he's giving them the same treatment of the shows he's putting out now. It's almost like, here's another good, I love using fast food examples. The House of Payne season 9 is KFC, but House of Payne seasons 1 through 8 is Kentucky Fried Chicken. The major difference being the quality of what we're getting. Like, remember when KFC used to be finger licking good? Now it's like, let me get a napkin. I know that's weird, because I know Cedric the Entertainer used that joke at a comedy special. He was like, the difference being the chicken is now processed. It's processed. It's not that finger looking good quality that it used to be back in the day. And I feel like that's the same thing with House of Payne, because just looking at the poor pacing of the episodes, dragging things out, boring ass storylines. There's only like 1 or 2 characters who I actually care about. I really feel like, and I'll do like a season 9 overview once we get to the ending of season 9, which should be sometime in January. But you'll be hearing a lot of the same thing I say on a week to week basis when I do my reviews. I really think one of the major missteps of this season was to build up potentially, and I honestly got this impression, build up CJ and Janine being the new Aunt Ella and Uncle Curtis, but they're just rarely in the show. And Curtis and Ella are there, but they're just over exaggerations. I don't want to say that they're as over the top as they were in the Paynes, but they're obviously a bit over the top when compared to their original House of Payne counterparts. That's the best way to put it. So I just feel like there needs to be I don't even want to say season 9 is a reboot. It's more like a series revival, but let me put it this way. If you want to call season 9 a reboot, then season 10 needs to be a reboot of the reboot by going back to the basics. Tyler Perry is highly capable. See, it's one thing for me and a lot of other fans to talk about how bad the haves and the have-nots has become compared to season 1. But when you look at House of Payne, that's even more hard to stomach, because House of Payne, one of the longest running black sitcoms in television history, had a huge stretch of great episodes. So to have that show come back and it's as bad as it is now, that's a major blow, because House of Payne was the first huge television success Tyler Perry had, but now he's brought it back to a lot of negative views. Now, matter of fact, let me see if I can find the ratings for this week's episode, because once again, I want to compare it to Assisted Living to see which show did better. So if you could just bear with me for one moment here. So Assisted Living, okay, that was episode 21. Okay, I don't see the numbers for it. House of Payne, that was episode 21. That got a 0.94. So the big game actually got a 0.94. We have not seen a rating that good since episode 4, 0.94, the old people game. That was the episode where Jasmine first came back to the season. So, yeah, I guess that it got a 0.94, not only because the prior episode had Jasmine and Caleb in it, but also the preview showed us that, oh, Lisa's going to be back for the first time in a while, and we saw how bad that was. So I just feel like, with Miranda being as annoying as she is, I posted a video that's like a 30-second clip. I did like a fun compilation of, people who don't give a damn about Miranda talking about, oh, I'm going on a lunch date, and, oh, do you want to know where I'm going? And I'm like, Miranda was a problematic character in the first, and I keep saying the OG series because season 9 just feels like something completely different. She was problematic in the original series, but the way she's written to be now, I feel, at least in the original series, yeah, she messed up a lot. She was nagging, but at the same time, you can feel for her because Calvin wasn't a great husband. And she wasn't a great wife. Please don't act like I'm defending Miranda, but I could see both sides of the marriage in regards of the problems that each person in the marriage brought to the relationship. But at the end of the day, this is just a pathetic caricature of Miranda. The fact that, I don't know what's worse, the fact that she just won't let Calvin go, or the fact that Ella keeps coaching her on. It's like, well, if you love him, you need to sit him down. Ella, she's talked with Calvin at least 4 times already. The man is ready to move on. Damn. Okay, I'm sorry about that. And another thing, I failed to mention this in my episode review of 21, but the fact that we saw Christian for the second time, he actually said 2 words, yeah, and bye. So within 30 seconds, little Christian, he's had more speaking roles in season 9 than Hayden and Jaden. And they've been in 2 episodes and scenes longer than Christian. Good gosh. All right, well, that's all I got to say for this. And I'm going to do a separate video about Lisa and Caleb in a few minutes here. But let me know what you think. Do you think, is season 9 the season is season 9 the season that House of Payne fans deserve? Let me know your thoughts. And like I said, I can't wait for this season to be over so I could really go to the nitty gritty of it. But that's all I got to say. Like, again, I support the actors on the show. Like, get that paper. I ain't mad at you. But I feel like this is a disgrace to the original the original cast of the show, as well as the longtime fans of the series. And I can speak on it because I remember when the show first came out and I was watching it religiously. But that's all I got for this one. If you want to donate to the channel, feel free to do so on PayPal, Cash App, or join Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Let me know your thoughts. Seriously, let's get this conversation going, and I'll talk to you soon.